In this episode of Akram's Ideas, I'm going to share with you my sewing plans for November 2016, so stay tuned. Hello and welcome. I'm Akram Kagavi Burris, and you're watching Akram's Ideas, bringing creative and crazy ideas to life. Today's episode is another On the Sewing Table episode where I share with you my plans for the month or upcoming month depending on when the video is released. And in this case, I know we're already well into November, but I'm going to share with you my plans, my sewing plans for November. Now, I only have a handful of things that I'm actually making this month, so I should be able to quickly finish them up, and they're relatively easy projects, so I'm excited to share those with you. Before I get started though, I just wanted to share my latest gable top by Jennifer Lauren Handmade. I had made a gable top back in August, and I knew that I wanted to make a second one the minute I finished that one. I just love that blouse so much. So here it is in the autumn print, which I talked about in my Sew and Tell monthly makes video for October. So if you haven't checked that out, be sure to check that video out and see all the things that I made for October. With that said, let's get to my November plans. So, like I said, there are only a handful of things that I'll actually be working on for the month of November. Now, the first thing is fabric here, which I actually got at a thrift store. I've got about, I think 2 or 3 yards of it. And this fabric, when I got it, it's such a vintage pattern. It's this novelty print, but the colors and all the food, I immediately thought Thanksgiving. It's not a print that I would normally wear, so I thought it would look great as an apron, a hostess apron. And so I started going through my pattern stash, and I came up with a couple of different options. I came up with this pattern here. This is McCall's 2925. I'm not sure of the year. It could be a 70s pattern. But I love the square neckline and the ruffles on this particular apron. However, I wasn't really happy with the lengths of the apron. And that's when I came across Simplicity 3598. And this pattern, I really like the length of the skirt part of the apron. And I also really love the interesting decorative patch pockets that are on this pattern. So I'm thinking about doing a little bit of a mashup where I do the top of the McCall's apron and then the bottom half of the Simplicity apron. And I think it will look lovely. And it's a pretty easy project, so I'm thinking that it'll rip up in really easy amount of time. I also have a ruffler foot for my Bernina Recorder 830, and I've never used it. So because of the ruffle on that apron, I think I'm going to go ahead and attempt to use the ruffler on it and see how it turns out. So that's my first make for November. Now, my second make for November, I actually recently joined a Facebook group that was called a vintage wardrobe, vintage capsule wardrobe, where the idea is that you make a capsule wardrobe, which, if you're unfamiliar with capsule wardrobes, it's basically a few pieces, usually no more than like 30 pieces, but sometimes even smaller than that, pieces that you can intermix and change so that you extend the amount of outfits in your wardrobe. And this is a vintage style capsule wardrobe. And they were doing this November skirt sew along to sew a skirt for your capsule wardrobe. So early on when I joined the group and started thinking about capsule wardrobe, I never really liked the idea of a capsule wardrobe because I like variety all the time. And I'm always sewing that it feels silly to limit yourself to only a few outfits. So I like to change it up all the time. But I thought it would be cool to do sort of a seasonal capsule wardrobe. So I only have a few items that are for summer, fall, winter, which will probably go out the window anyways because I love sewing and making new clothes all the time. But I decided, since it takes me forever to get things sewn and everything, is to think in the future and work on a capsule wardrobe for spring. So if I start now, I should have a few items ready for spring. So like I said, the group was hosting a November skirt sew along. So before starting this project, I thought about what my spring color palette would be. And if you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen this fabric that I posted in a photo talking a little bit about my vintage capsule wardrobe project, and that this would be my color palette. I found this fabric in my stash. I got it not too long ago actually, and there's about 4 yards here. And so this is going to be like my staple print for my spring capsule wardrobe. And I really wanted to do like a box pleat type skirt or something in this, but I couldn't find the right pattern. But along with that, I also wanted to actually do a couple of other skirts and stuff to mix and match with this print. And I came across this green here, which really pulls from the lighter green shade in the this fabric here, and they worked really, really well together. So for the green, I was thinking about doing a simple A-line type skirt. So I wanted to go with a 50s, late 50s, early 60s vibe to the whole wardrobe, since the print lent itself to that era. So for the green skirt, I came up with this pattern in my stash. This is a 4950 printed pattern. I believe it's like mail order patterns from back in the day. And I'm going to say it's about from the 60s. It has that look to it. And it's for a sort of two-piece jacket and skirt. Now, unfortunately, I don't have enough fabric to make the jacket, but I do have enough for the skirt. And I'm hoping that I have enough left over that I can make a little shrug maybe to go with it. Despite not having enough for the jacket, I feel like this green skirt is going to be pretty versatile, that I'll be able to wear it with like cardigans and things like that. And green is my favorite color, and I feel like I will get a lot of wear out of this skirt regardless whether it has a matching jacket or not. And it's going to look super great when I make the top that I have planned for this fabric over here. That's primarily the biggest projects that I have planned for November, only because, like I said, we're nearing the end of November now, and I'm actually working on a couple of selfless sewing projects. One, my sister asked me to make her a holiday tablecloth that I'm working on. And I'm working on a lot of holiday gifts for a family. Everybody knows that I love to hand make a lot of the gifts that I give out during the holidays. And two of my sisters actually have birthdays in early December, which I'm also working on their projects as well. And I don't want to give away too much of what I'm making, but I usually always make all my sisters and my mom and even my mother-in-law like a purse or a handbag of some kind. And I actually enrolled in a Craftsy course called Sewing Structured Bags with Lisa Lamb, I believe. I'll put the link in the comments below to the Craftsy class. But they were actually having a sale not too long ago, and I enrolled in a couple of different courses, and that was one of them. And I've already watched a few episodes, and I'm like blown away how easy some of the techniques are, and yet it makes a whole lot of difference on the shape and sturdiness of your bag. So I'm really excited about delving deeper into that and making a couple of handbags and purses for my family. One of my goals is to actually make one of my sisters, she had this Kate Spade purse on her wish list, and my goal is to make one that looks like it or looks close enough like it that she's gonna be like, oh wow, I didn't know you could do that. But yeah, that's my goal anyways. So anyways, those are a couple of other projects that I will be working on now until Christmas, and most likely up until Christmas Eve. The last little thing that I wanted to mention was the Little Red Dress Project, which is a sort of another sort of sewing hashtag that's going around. It's a project / challenge put together by Running in Style on Instagram, and basically all the sewers get together and make a dress primarily for the holidays. The deadline is December 21st, and then we share our makes on that date, but the only requirement is that the dress be red. And so I know a lot of sewers have been talking about getting their plans and what they're planning to make and everything, and I have a pattern in mind I'm excited about, but I haven't gotten it in the mail yet. But I did get the fabric for it. It actually came from my stash. So this is it here, and I hope it doesn't look a little orange on the camera. It's actually red, but it's kind of an orangey red. It's a very lovely sort of banded stretch fabric, and I know that a lot of sewing vloggers and bloggers are going more a traditional holiday dress, doing lace and satin and all sorts of different things like that. And at first I thought about doing that. I thought, oh, I'm going to do this really great holiday dress and everything. But then I started thinking, like, how many times am I going to wear this dress? You know, I don't go to a lot of holiday events and things like that, or holiday parties. And so I thought, wouldn't it be great if I had a really casual dress that would not only look good during the holidays, but I could wear out of the holidays as well, and even up into Valentine's Day, which is also just around the corner anyways. So I'm going with this jersey knit, and so it's going to be kind of a knit dress, and that will give you a sort of hint of what I'm going to be making in this dress. And if you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen my recent online pattern purchase that I've made, and that will also give you a hint of what that dress is going to be. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm hoping to get that started early on in December, so it'll be ready by the deadline on December 21st. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Akram's Ideas, and if you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. And as always, don't forget to follow Akram's Ideas on social media or subscribe to our channel. Just click the link below. Thanks for watching!